welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed and I post weekly quilting and crafting tutorials. Today we're going to be making a bag. We're actually going to be making a drawstring bag. It is a flat bottom drawstring toiletry bag that we're going to be making. You don't have to use it as a toiletry bag. You could use it as a project bag if you like, but I'm using it as a toiletry bag because I've got a trip coming up soon to the centre of Australia. I'm heading over to Uluru with my husband and the kids, and I needed a new toiletry bag, so I thought what better way to get one as is to make one for you guys and show you how to work with vinyl. I'm going to also as I said, give you some tips and tricks with the vinyl and also show you a quick and easy way to make these casings for the drawstring. So let's get started. Okay, so you're going to need a few things for your little toiletry bag. So you're going to need 4 pieces of fabric that measure 8 inches by 12 inches, and that's these ones here. And then you're going to want some contrasting fabric, and you want 2 of those, 2 pieces, measuring at 4.5 inches by 10 inches. And you're also going to need some sort of clear vinyl, okay, and I will link up down below where you can get some of this. And it is 6 inches by 12 inches, and you need 2 of those. And you're also going to need some cording as well. And this one here is just my macrame cord that I've used, and it is 36 inches long, and you'll need 2 of those. You're also going to need some quilting rulers, a rotary cutter, a pair of snips, a pair of scissors, some pins, some wonder clips, my favorite glue Roxanne, and also some double-sided tape. You may even need, when you go to put the cords through, you'll need to have some sort of threader. So I'm just using a bobbin pinch today. You're also going to be doing some zigzag today, so you'll need to swap out your 1/4 inch foot for your regular foot after we've done all the seams, and then you can do your zigzag. Okay, so I'm just going to move all this out of the way and then we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your iron and your ironing pad, and you're going to grab your grey piece of fabric or your contrasting fabric, which is the shorter piece, and it's measuring, as I said, 4.5 inches by 10 inches. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to fold your short ends in by 1/4 inch, and then you're going to head over to the sewing machine and you're just going to top stitch those down. So you can see there that I've top stitched them into place already. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come back to the ironing board and you're going to mark a 1/4 inch mark here, and you can see there, I'll bring it up a little bit closer, I've just got a little mark there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a trick that I do before I press them. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to grab your ruler and you're going to grab your hand press, and you can use anything for this. You can use a little hand press like this. You can use a chopstick that's got a pointy end, not too pointy because you don't want it to wreck your fabric. You could use a paper scorer. You could even use a boner that you use for scrapbooking. You're going to grab your ruler and you're going to lay it on that line that you've marked with your pen, and it's 1/4 inch that you're marking, and then you're just going to score the fabric, so to speak. And what that does is makes the fabric curl up a little bit. And then you do it to the other side as well. And sometimes I don't even worry about marking my dark fabric, I just do this. And this is when I've got to do a 1/4 inch seam, like a turnover. So then we're just going to put our ironing pad down, and what essentially happens is when you roll it, it automatically, you can see there just past my fingers that it just automatically rolls. So it makes it super easy to get an accurate turnover of a 1/4 inch. So I just start it like so, and then I just run my finger along, and you can see it's just creasing just nicely. And it's even all the way along. And just to make sure that it doesn't move on me because it's going to be sitting for a while, I just grab my Roxannes glue, Baste-it glue, and I just put a little bit there, just a little drop, about 5 all up. And then I just hit it with the iron again, and I know that that's not going to move. And then I'm going to repeat that to the other side. So you can see there that it just folds over so quick and easy. You don't have to think about it. You've already got that crease mark, and the fabric just wants to go that way anyway. All right, so we'll just put another little bit of glue under that end, drop there, drop there, drop there, and a drop there. And then I can hit that with the iron. And don't stress if the glue comes out a little bit. It is washable and it will wash away. So then we're just going to fold that lengthways in half like so, making sure that each folded edge is actually meeting up. And then we're just going to give that a really good press. And if you've got a clapper, you can use a clapper at this point for it to stay in place. And then you're going to repeat that with the second one, and you'll just set them aside. Next, we're going to take our yellow fabric or whatever fabric that you're using, okay, and you've got 4 pieces of this, so you're going to repeat exactly the same thing to each 4 pieces. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use that little tip that I just gave you before. I grab my ruler, pop that onto the side of it, and then just score that. And you can see there that it's just curling up just nicely. And then I'll repeat that to the other side. And set that aside. Grab my ironing pad back. And again, I'm going to do exactly what I did with the grey one and roll that 1/4 inch over. So I just started off, pop the iron on it, and then you can see there that I just run my fingers along and it just instantly folds over. Because it feels like you can actually feel the crease with your finger, so it makes it a lot easier. You know that you're not going to overshoot the 1/4 inch or anything like that. The tricky part is when you first start, just getting it right. And you can see there that just running my finger along, it's just folding over just nicely. And it makes it super quick. And that's what we want, isn't it? All right, so just so they stay in place, I just quickly grab my Roxanne glue and I just give it a little bit of a light bead and hit that with the iron again, and that dries it and holds it in place. And you're going to repeat this with the other remaining pieces. I don't put a lot, I just like give it a little bit of a squeeze every now and again and just drag the tip along that seam. And you'll understand why in a moment why I'm actually doing that. It just helps out with the process of making this cute little bag. All right, so that's that. You're going to repeat that with the remaining 3, and then once you've done that, you actually want to fold it in half and line everything up and just make a crease in the center. You don't have to glue this or anything like that. You just want to make that crease, and it's just sort of a bit of a guide for us a bit later on. We've still got a little bit more prep work to do, but you can set your ironing board away out of the way now, and you can turn your iron off at this point. So now what we're going to do, now that we have done all our 4 pieces, we're actually going to take our piece and our double-sided tape, and we're going to just roll out a piece, not all the way to the end, just about 1/2 inch from each end. There's no right or wrong. Okay, and then you just stick that down like so, and give it a good press with your fingers. And then you're going to repeat that on the other side. Now I like to use Collins Wonder Tape. That's my favorite brand. There are many brands out on the market. You can use it for zippers and all sorts of stuff, but I like using it for the vinyl like I'm going to show you right now. All right, so once you've done that, you're going to repeat that to the other 3 pieces that you've got. You've got a piece on this side and a piece on that side, and you can see now why I wanted to glue down that 1/4 inch. Once you've done that, you're going to get your plastic. You're going to peel off the paper that's on it. It comes off very easy. And then what you're going to do is, I like to just line the edge of my fabric piece up with a line on the cutting mat, and then I'm going to make sure that my vinyl piece is lining up, and it might be slightly bigger than your fabric. That's fine, we can trim that excess off later, and sometimes when you sew it does stretch a little bit, so I just make sure that everything is lining up quite nicely, and I can see there that it's nice and straight, and then I can pop that down, and then I just, if it moves on you, that's fine, you can pull it off and start again, but that is in place now. And then what I do is, on the other end, down this end, I just peel that off just like so, and then I just fold this up, aligning, not going past the fabric, I'm aligning those two fabric pieces through the vinyl. And before I press down, I just make sure, and I can see that that is all lining up quite nicely. And then we turn it around, and we're going to repeat exactly the same procedure at this end, and we're going to do 2 panels. So I prepared these ones a little bit earlier, so I can just peel off that tape. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to start, but persevere, it comes off very easy. Okay, and now I'm going to line up my fabric with the grids on my mat, and then I'm going to slowly bring this down and then place that in place, and just give that a really good press. Okay, and then again I'm going to repeat that for the other end. Take that off, and then come up and line everything up. Okay, so that's one panel there, and we're going to set that aside, and we're going to repeat that with our second panel. Okay, so now that we've got both our panels, we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we're just going to top stitch this in place using about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance across that, and we're going to do it on the top, and we're also going to do it on the bottom. Okay, so we've top stitched that into place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little grey pieces here, we're going to fold those in half, and on the end that's open at the top, we're going to place a pin there in the center, just like so. And you're going to repeat that with the other one. Again, just grab a pin and pop that into place. All right, so then we're going to take our panel pieces, and we're going to fold the top part of it in half. And if you're using 2 different sorts of fabrics, just choose which fabric that you're going to have as the top. I'm using the same fabric top and bottom, so it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to place that piece with the open piece facing to the top, and I'm going to pin that into place. And then at this end, I'm going to pop a pin in as well. And you just want to make sure that both your folded edges are meeting up with the top edge of the bag. And we're going to pop that in there like so. And the same at the other end, and then we're going to repeat that for our second panel. So again, just fold that in half, find the center, give it a bit of a finger press to create a crease, and then pop that contrasting piece just on top. Then you're going to head over to the sewing machine, and you're going to do a 1/4 inch seam right along this contrasting piece, reversing at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so we've stitched that into place. Just remove your pins, and you can see there that it's all stitched into place quite nicely. You've got your nice folded edge at the bottom facing towards the vinyl, and then these top edges now are closed. So now, as like with most vinyl, sometimes it shifts and all the rest of it. So basically we want our panel to be about 11.5 inches. And I say about because you may have to cut a little bit more off, or you may have a little bit extra, but I'm going to cut mine to 11.5 inches. Okay, so I've got my ruler here, and I'm just going to line the top edge here and this edge here, making sure that that is nice and straight. And I'm going to place my ruler on one side for now, and making sure that that is nice and straight as well. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a trim, because you can see here that it's just kicked out just a little bit. Now I'm not measuring anything at the moment because I just need a straight edge. You can see there, I don't have to take much off at all. Okay, so now I've got that straight edge. I can flip that over, and I'm going to make sure that this bottom edge is lining up nice and straight. This one's nice and straight here, and this is lining up on my mat quite nicely. And now I'm going to place my ruler at the 11.5 mark, and see, I don't have to take that much off at all. Making sure everything is nice and straight. I can trim that off. Get rid of rubbish. And then I'm going to do exactly the same over on this side. Right, so we've got our two panel pieces now. Both of them have got the channel that we need on it, and these are perfectly matched together. And now what we can do is place them right sides together. So this is the front of the bag, so you're going to place that down, and then we are going to line up our sides here. Okay, so grab your wonder clips and then repeat to the other side. And you want to make sure that these are lined up good, because otherwise you will see that they're not matching when you eventually put it all together. So again, we're going to line this up, making sure that it's all lining up perfectly. Okay, so we've got that all in place. Now what we need to do is just add a couple of pins down here. Now don't worry if this isn't matching up down here, that's fine. It will work itself out in just a moment. But what I want you to do is get it to line up as good as you can. You can see there, mine's lining up really well. And you want to grab a couple of pins at this point, and you're just going to pop a few along here. So about 3 should be enough. And then we're going to cut out our corners so we can turn this into like a flat bottom pouch. So all I'm taking out of this, and you want to make sure it's down the bottom and not up where your channel is. Okay, so the grey, your contrasting fabric is the top of the bag, and then down here is the bottom of the bag. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my 1 inch mark on my ruler on the corner, grab my marking tool, and I'm just going to give that a quick mark. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Now, if you wanted it to sit a little bit flatter, you can make it like a more of a base on the bag. You can actually take out 1.5 inches if you want to, but I find that 1 inch is just enough. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to snip, and I don't use my rotary cutter. You can, but yeah, you always run the risk of overshooting the mark, so you don't want to do that. And then just cut out your squares. All right, the next part is we're going to sew our little bag together. So we've cut out our corners, and now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the bag. So starting up at the top of the bag, you're going to do a reverse here, and then you're going to stitch 1/4 inch all the way down and reverse down at the bottom. Then you're going to come over to here and do a 1/4 inch across there, reversing at the end and at the beginning, and then starting on this side, you're going to start here, reverse and head up, and then finish with a reverse here. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and do that, and I'll be back in a second to show you what we do next. So we've stitched all that together, so we've got a bag. Basically it's almost together. Now what we need to do, just to encase these raw edges here, we're going to do a zigzag just on the fabric parts, so on both sides. So now you want to take your 1/4 inch foot off and actually put your all-purpose foot on and change your machine to a zigzag. If you can't do a zigzag, you can pink these. So you can just grab your pinking shears and pink the edge of it. Okay, so we've done our little zigzag across the sides of our bags, and I've just done a small one so you can see there. I'll give you a close-up of it. It's just get rid of any loose threads or anything like that. And then what we're going to do is now we're actually going to box up our corners. So I'm just going to put my hand in there and I'm going to line up those seams, so the side seam with the bottom seam, and I'm going to have one seam going one way and the other one going the opposite way, and then I'm just going to grab a pin and pop that in there. And I like to use these fork pins. I've just recently started using them again. I was shown how to use them many years ago, but the person that showed me didn't show me the correct way, and then I was down at a craft store, a craft show, sorry, and I seen how they were using them, and I can tell you now they have been a godsend, especially for small piecing. And if anybody's been following me on Instagram, I've been doing the 100 blocks in 100 days, and there's some little pieces in that, and I haven't had any problems with my points or anything not meeting up, and I've just been using these fork pins, which are fabulous. I'll link them up down below where you can get them from too. Alright, so I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to zigzag that as well. Okay, so we've closed them up and we've zigzagged that, and now what you want to do is just get rid of all your threads, and we are just about ready to turn the bag through. So once you've got rid of all those, just double check that everything is stitched up correctly and nothing has been missed, and I can see that everything is fine there. A few more threads to go. Alright, so now all you're going to do is turn your bag in the right way. And it makes it super easy, even though you've got the vinyl on there. It's pretty easy because you've got the fabric as well. Turn that out the right way. Push our little corners out. Alright, that's all in place now, and now all that's left to do is to thread our cording through. So grab your cords and whatever you're putting it through. I'm using a pinch and pull or a bobbin, and I just grab it like that and slide that back up, and I will leave a link down below where you can get these from. And then we just feed it through one side, flip it over and go through the other side. And then just bring that through so they're even. And we just slide this straight off. And then we just bring these up so they're even. This one is just a little bit damaged, so I'm just going to trim that little bit off. And I took about 1 inch off, so I'll take 1 inch off the other one as well. And then you're just going to wrap a simple knot around your fingers, slide it through, and then slide it down to the end. And you can leave it like that, or you can shaggy up the ends. They look quite cute when the ends are shaggied up. So that's one side. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my other one and just take 1 inch off that. Then I'm going to feed that through the opposite side. And again around, just making sure that that first one that you put in is down the bottom. And you're just going across the top of the rope so they don't get tangled up. Alright, move our pinch and pull, and again wrap a simple knot. Okay, so our cord's in there, and then all you've got to do to close it is pull it close, and there we go. Our little vinyl bag, toiletry bag, is done. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do hope that you enjoyed working with the vinyl today and making yourself a toiletry bag. It's a quick and easy project. It goes together so easily, especially with those tips and tricks with the double-sided tape and making those casings super quick. You don't have to turn them out or anything like that. So if you like this video today, give it a thumbs up down below. Leave us a comment and tell us what you thought. And is there anything that you'd like to see me make on the channel that you're having trouble with? Leave us a comment down below and let us know. And that way we can do something about that for you. If you're new here and you have yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon and set it to all notifications so you get notified anytime we upload a new video, including our live streams that we have. So that's it from me this week. I really do hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.